Hello and welcome. My name is Arity and this is Wise Woman Television, and today I am bringing you a pick-a-card reading on what would they say if they could. So this is about someone that you are in disconnection with, no longer speaking to, not in communication with, at a distance with. There is some kind of reason obviously that they haven't or cannot communicate with you, and so some of you are dealing with the aftermath of heartbreak or loss, but otherwise in distance, or disconnection, or separation. Now these messages are from the person's higher self. That was what came through clear to me when I put these cards down. We may get other messages about what's happening more at the egoic level as well, but I did want to let you know that's what's primarily coming through at this moment. So I encourage you to stick around. If you find you like this reading, I encourage you to like and subscribe and stay connected here. And I do want to let you know I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So without further ado, I will place a picture of the 4 card pile options that we have for you today, and you can choose intuitively, and we will begin. Okay, so card pile 1. What would they say if they could? So this is your person of interest, and I feel like this is their higher self, and it was primarily your card pile that as soon as I flipped the cards over and went to introduce the reading today, or the opening, I felt like it was most relevant for you, although it seems like that's probably going to be the case for all the piles. So the first thing that's coming through is, today's a very cold day and I have a heater over here and a sweater, and yeah. So we'll go ahead and begin. The first thing they want to say is they really want you to see that ultimately, to see yourself. They really want you to see yourself with the eyes of love. They want you to recognize your worth. They want you to recognize your value. They want you to see yourself for all that you are. Because I'm feeling like in this connection, whoever this person was, love connection or otherwise, they may not have always seen your value. Now, this does not have to be the case. This might be the case for some or many of you, but the energy is there, so I'm going to speak to it. Oftentimes as humans, we learn through contrast. And so their higher selves might have something different to say than what their egoic selves would say, but the end result is the same, right? So if they want you to learn self-worth, or you do more so, your soul, your spirit, you're oftentimes going to learn that in the third dimension, or the physical or duality plane. You're going to learn it through not having a sense of self-worth, not believing in yourself, not loving yourself, or having other people not see your value and appreciate you. And it feels like for some of you, this person may not have seen your full value. They may not have seen all that you are or all that you're worth. And so they want you to see you for all of your beauty, all of your glory, all that you are. They want you to be able to see that, even though they might not have been able to see that. And keep in mind, their higher self wants you to know that their higher self very much sees that, and this was all part of the plan, so to speak, such that their human may not fully recognize or did not fully recognize your value and just wasn't able to appreciate you in the way that you might have desired, and yet they were there to help you see the value in you. Now there is something here around, there was an energy that came through there just momentarily, and I want to try to pick it up, so just give me a moment here. So the energy was, this person, for many of you, does end up sort of evolving out of this pattern over the course of their lives. They're able to see the value and the beauty in other people and have gratitude. For many of them, they will grow out of the pattern of not being able to see the value in people. And ultimately, this person may, in hindsight, come to really appreciate and recognize you in human form. But the higher self wants to say, we want you to learn to love yourself through this. We want you to be able to lift the eyes of judgment, lift the veil of faulty or distorted perception. This is about getting to know you and loving you at the deepest possible level and recognizing all that you are outside of the illusions, the falsehoods, the egoic conditioning. There is something here for you, card pile 1, specifically about self-love. So what would they say if they could? To start is, I want you to see how truly beautiful you are. I want you to see your own value, and I want you to live your life based on that value, deciding who gets access to you, who doesn't, the choices that you make, the things that you do. Those should all reflect how truly extraordinary, beautiful, and powerful you are. And I hope that you can see that. I hope that you will be able to honor that with or without me. And so let's move on to the next card too. Yeah, so this is very much, I feel like, again, messages from the higher self is through this experience, whatever it is that you went through with this person, or at least the greater context to this experience, is all pointing to you trusting yourself. So this person's higher self wants you to be able to trust yourself, your own impulses, your own nudges. It feels like there could have been some kind of betrayal in this connection. It does not have to be the case for everyone. Energy comes through and I speak to it, and oftentimes the most powerful energies are the ones that are the majority, or for the majority of people. If it doesn't land for you, you can leave it. But there's something here about there was some kind of betrayal, and this person was acting out of their own lack of love for themselves, out of their own lack of awareness, out of their own lack of a capacity to truly be loving and present in a relationship as a result of their own history and conditioning. There's something here about trusting yourself, trusting those inner nudges that you get, those inner whispers, and not feeling like you have to have the validation from the other person. This person might not have always given you validation. They may not have confirmed or affirmed things for you. You might have been left in the dark at times. You might have been left just to figure it out on your own or make assumptions. And for some of you, I'm feeling like it wasn't a betrayal as much as it was this person never told you that they loved you. Maybe they didn't tell you often enough or frequently enough. Maybe they didn't show you their love or show you their affections. And so you were left sort of wondering and confused and feeling like you weren't getting as much out of this relationship as you were giving. And so there was this message here. Now, first of all, it has to do right with the first set of cards on self-love and worthiness and owning that worth by making choices and engaging only with those people who truly value you and see you for all that you are. But there's also an aspect here about listening to yourself. You get to be your own final authority. Now, I also feel like some of you had handed over your life to this other person. So we hear about how in a lot of relationships or connections, people sort of adopt or inherit the patterns or personality of the other person and, take on their ways and their friendship and their lives and their habits. And they don't even realize it sometimes until months or years later. And they're like, wait a second, where did everybody go? Where did I go? What happened? And so it's this message here of not handing over the reins or the keys of your life to someone else and handing over your power and essentially sacrificing yourself entirely to adopt someone else and to meet their needs or to find belonging or to find love and affection or to find approval. There's a message here about living by the truth of your own self, of your own spirit, of your own wisdom, your own intuition. So what would they say if they could? They would say, at least from their higher self, but perhaps eventually even their egoic self, they would say something along the lines of, I really want you to trust yourself. I want you to see how wise you are, and again, how powerful you are. And I want you to begin to trust your impulses, your nudges, your impressions. I want you to trust your own perceptions and your perspective, even your choices and your behaviors. I want you to trust what's true for you. You don't have to take anything on that isn't true for you, whether it's for me or for anybody else. I want you to place yourself at the center of and forefront of your life and honor you first and foremost before anything else. So that's what they would say. And this is part of what this connection was here to teach you. And it's what they want to share today if they could. So the next part is they want you to, this might be hard for some people to hear. So I do want to go ahead and say that. If this doesn't resonate, please leave it. You have to take what lands, leave the rest. And it's saying they want you to move on. They want you to move on from this connection. This is the higher self. They want you, if you were recognizing your value and truly trusting yourself, which were the first messages that came through for what would they say if they could, if you were to do those things, you would walk away. You would leave. You would know what's best for you. You would know what's in your best interest. Especially if this person did betray you, didn't honor and truly see your value, was just getting their needs met through this relationship because you adopted everything that was theirs, and so you really didn't have a true role or place in this relationship. You weren't fully seen because, of course, you weren't seeing yourself, and so they didn't either and didn't have to. They want you to move on if it's what's self-honoring, they want you to move on. They want you to move forward, even though it might be difficult, because it feels like in some cases for some of you that you might be still trying to hold on to this connection or hold on to this person of interest, hold on to this relationship. And it's that controlling aspect of, you know, wanting to make it happen or wanting to make it work or wanting to figure things out, or, you know, why can't we heal together? Why can't we figure this out together? There's some kind of sort of problem solving that might be going on in terms of trying to grasp onto this and grasp it tightly. And so the message here is, what would they say if they could? At least from the higher self, they are saying, if you were to honor yourself wholly and completely, and if you were to see yourself through the eyes of love and not see yourself through the limitations or even the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, the falsehoods that you have about yourself that truly don't honor all that you are, and if you were to trust yourself wholly and completely and have the faith to do what is best for you, would you move on, or would you continue to hold on to this connection? And so that's the message here. Again, if it does not land for you, let it be. But you know, these energies that come through for a reason. And if you chose card pile 1, I do trust that something is here for you, whether your egoic human wants to hear it or not. So let's move on to the final message here. They say that there's something special about you. There's something unique about you. And they want you to recognize how special and unique you are. They want you to see, again, your value, but especially not just relevant to you being a soul and so you're deserving as you are and inherently worthy. It's like, I really want you to see how special you are, how unique and special you are as you, how precious you are. They want you to prize yourself as your own prized possession. They want you to be self-assured and to be self-possessed and to really honor who you uniquely are, because you bring something unique to the table that no other person on this planet can occupy or bring forward. Now, there's something here about this message of allowing yourself to, whether it's rest in silence, meditate, surrender, but just be with yourself at a deep level and hold yourself at a deep level so you can see through some of the illusions and perceptions that you may be struggling to see through or release. Because it's like, again, if you are as a watcher, as a viewer, holding on to this connection tightly and really struggling to let go, they want you to find that peace. They want you to find that clarity, and they do believe that you'll find it the more that you move forward or move on from this connection. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be hurt and pain there, because as soon as I say that, I feel that. So that could be both for your person as well as for you, but ultimately their higher self recognizes what's good and best for both parties, because it sounds like over time this person, after having had you in their life and their own evolving and so on and so forth, in hindsight and reflection, they're able to recognize all that you brought to the table. They're able to see your value. And we talked about that earlier with the first couple of cards. And so that for many of you, that is essentially what happens, but they don't discover your value too much later, but they ultimately do. And they want you to have the same serenity, the same peace. They want you to find peace with this. They want you to find resolution with this. They want you to find closure in this. So how can you create your own closure? If this person cannot or has not been able to provide any closure, to provide a final conversation or resolution that really sits well with you, you might explore how you can do that for yourself. So what would they say if they could? They would say, not only are you so precious and extraordinary, and I want you to see how valuable you are. You are a true gem, a diamond, and I want you to see that for yourself, even if no one else sees it. My higher self is here to share that with you today, and I want you to find peace. I want you to be able to find closure with this. I want you to be able to find resolution in your heart so that you can move on and truly honor what it is you are and deserve. So that's what they would share for you, their higher self, card pile 1. I am looking forward to hearing your comments if this lands or resonates for you. If you like it, please do like and subscribe. And I do want to let you know, as always, I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life, in your work, and your spiritual path. And I will see you next time. Okay, card pile 2, what would they say if they could? So what came through though when I pulled these cards, it was more or less, or more about their higher self and what they would say. That's what became very clear when I laid out all the piles, but we'll find out how true that is for yours, card pile 1, although I do believe these are messages from the higher self. They seemed a little bit more higher order than what I've seen in the past for previous readings. I have done what would they say if they could from the human. I have done those readings too, so you can look on my channel for that or those as well. So card pile 2, what would they say if they could? this person, and this might even be their human self too. I feel like there might be alignment here. But either way, they want you to come alive, to enjoy yourself, to not compromise anymore, to not settle for less, to truly be all that you are, to shine, to recognize your worthiness and your deservingness, and to truly honor all the expressions of you, who you are. But they want you to enjoy yourself. They want you to live life with passion, with gusto. They want you to truly enjoy your life, to live fully, and they don't want you to continue to settle for less. So in some ways, it feels like perhaps you were settling for less. That even could have been this relationship. Now, I'm not feeling that as a majority energy here. I feel like it's more a minority energy, where the human self for your person of interest would have been settling for less for you, that you weren't settling, that you weren't sort of aiming high or for what you deserve. Instead, you were choosing, taking what you could get, choosing what was available or easily there, available, kind of fell into your lap kind of thing. Instead of really going for what you deserve, like what is your vision. And so it's like, if you were to write your vision separate from this person, you might write that you want, you might write a list of all the things that you want in a partner, and then you could see, how does this person compare? Have they met the bar in all of those ways? And it doesn't mean we're always searching for perfection. It just means we have a general idea of what we want. So we have an ability to not settle and to really honor that vision for ourselves, what we truly deeply want, what would bring us most happiness and fulfillment. And so what would their higher self say? What would they say if they could? They would say, I want you to be happy. I want you to come alive. I want you to see all that you are and all that you're worth. I want you to stop settling. I want you to see your value. I want you to raise your standards, and I want you to live true to those standards. I want you to be all that you can be. So that would be the first thing that they share, especially from their higher self. And I do even feel like for this person, that human self might say the same thing. Okay, so the next couple of cards here. They want you to allow yourself to experience more abundance, more love, more affection, more wealth. There's something here about, and they want you to be able to, what's the word? To sort of optimistically move forward toward what it is that you want, without assuming that you can't have it or it's not going to work. Something like that. I'm still trying to nail the energy down with words to be able to articulate it clearly and cleanly for you. But they want you to receive all that you are. So if you are a beautiful person, which it sounds like you are in a lot of ways, they want, and that you give, and that you're nurturing and devoted and loving and willing to give it all, and just give so much of yourself in a relationship. They want you to be able to experience that for yourself. Again, the whole not settling for less thing, it seems like maybe either in this relationship or maybe just your previous relationships and your overall patterns, that you tend to get with people that can't give back what you give, right? You're not usually receiving how much you give, and they want you to have an equal investment. They want you to have someone that is able to give on all levels and meet you, like be your match, essentially. Like, how when we say we meet our match in something, they want you to be able to do that so that you too can receive more in relationship. Now there is the Fool card here, so if you're familiar with the tarot, so this could indicate that new beginning, new venture, almost naivete, but optimism. It could indicate a new beginning, so they want you to move on. That could be the case for a small minority of you. I'm not feeling like that for a big majority, but I am feeling like they want you to sort of own this energy, this fresh energy, this optimistic energy of, instead of, sometimes we walk around with the idea of like broken dreams or lack of wish fulfillment and stuff like that. And it's like, no, they want you to recognize how beautiful it is and how beautiful your opportunities are and how beautiful this life is. And that there's so much in this world for you. There's like this whole silver platter that's being offered, and you just get to pick what you choose. And their higher self wants you to be like, you get to have what you want. You get to experience all that you want here on this planet. So go do and be you and enjoy yourself. All the flavors, the whole buffet, it's all here for you. Why are you limiting yourself to, just this platter, whatever that is? Meaning like there's so much possibility for you. There's so much potential out there for you, and all of it's there for you to fully receive and to be able to experience in your life. So, why continue to settle? So the next couple of cards here. Yeah, I'm getting, again, they really want you to, I keep getting this message of card pile 2. It's about enjoying your life and taking things Like letting things roll off your back, taking things with a grain of salt, not allowing everything to batter you or pummel you or bring you down, that not everything is what it seems, and just to enjoy your life and make the best of it. That feels most relevant, is really make the best of it. Their higher self is like, hey, it just feels like I really love this higher self, because they kind of feel casual, almost like a hippie, and just super optimistic. But they're like, hey, listen, you know, I know this life can be hard and it can get you down, but it's not all that it seems. And if you really allow yourself to receive what's here, and you go for it, and you allow yourself to have, and you allow yourself to experience, and you give yourself permission to eat the buffet, the full buffet, the whole, the full Monty, like you will begin to see the greater value in your life and in your experience. Like they really want you to be able to live fully, to experience fully, and to enjoy the simple pleasures of life, even the simplicity of just being alive and breathing. They want you to enjoy yourself. They want you to love your life. They want you to live fully. And it's interesting, because this is very different from card pile 1, but it's also this continuing affirmation of the same energy that was brought up from the beginning, about coming alive, enjoying your life, living fully, not settling, continuing to move to greater possibility, never allowing yourself to be held back by any ceilings. They're all glass ceilings. They're all meant for you to break through. There's a whole buffet here waiting for you. They want you to eat until you're stuffed. And of course not to excess, but it's like, just enjoy yourself, allow yourself to experience all that's here for you, all the wealth that's available for you. Yeah. So the final message, what would they say if they could? Yeah, they don't want you to live your life alone or in... So again, we picked up a little bit on that energy of broken dreams, or it's not going to work out, or it doesn't work out for me, or relationships never work out, or whatever your particular commentary is around that, because the energy is there, but then the form, the circumstances that arise in your life might look different from everybody else who's listening. And so there's this thing about not letting life get you down, not letting yourself become the victim, not letting yourself just succumb to either the difficulties and hardships of life, but even like the worries and practicalities of life, but not letting yourself get down and beaten and battered into a position where you, again, can't enjoy yourself. They want you to come alive. They want you to enjoy yourself. They want you to live true to yourself. They want you to honor the full, colorful spectrum that we have available to us on this planet, and they don't want you to have to do it alone. They don't want you to resign yourself to just doing it alone. Like, never mind, forget it, I won't try anyway, it never works out, I'm gonna be on my own anyway, what's the point, it's too much work. So like those kinds of things, if you have found yourself saying those things, that's the real that's coming through very clearly. And they don't want you to live alone. They don't want, like, look at the difference between these cards, and both of them came up for you, so they're relevant. This is the energy you might be in now, or maybe you tend to default to that energy, where you're just like, F it, never mind, I'm going to go alone, nothing ever works out, it doesn't work out for me, there's nothing worthwhile, why put in the effort? And then they're saying, no, go out there with fresh eyes, go out there with the eyes of a child, with freshness, with the zeal for a new beginning, and just just go out there and do it. It's like a new frontier, kind of like that energy. The new frontier energy, how exciting, how thrilling, as opposed to, this is too hard, why put in the effort, why bother? It's from Eeyore, which, if you guys know the character in Winnie the Pooh, it's like Eeyore energy, or the Fool energy in tarot, which doesn't even know the obstacles that it may encounter or will encounter on its hero's or heroine's journey. Long before it ever hits any obstacles, it's, he's optimistic, he's ready to go, he's thrilled, he's alive, and then he hits some difficulties along the way and maybe becomes this guy. And so the higher self of your person of interest is like, no, don't default to that. That's not enough for you. You deserve more. Go out there and enjoy yourself and come alive again and make this a new beginning. So that's your message. Card pile 2. I am curious to hear your comments and how this lands for you, so please do share below. If you like this reading, I encourage you to like and subscribe. I also want to let you know, as always, that I do provide both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So thank you, card pile 2. Okay. Card pile 3, what would they say if they could? So I have noticed for this, and I even opened in the introduction with this, that in a lot of ways, for most of these card piles, I'm finding that this is their higher self, what their higher self would say, your person of interest. So it may not fully land or resonate or reconcile with how their human would operate or what their egoic mind would say. In some cases, though, I can feel the resonance, and I'll share that their human would say the same thing. So their higher self wants you to let this go. And I don't know if it's the relationship itself or the rumination over it, but it's more so the pain, the heartbreak, the despair, the anguish. It feels like there was a lot that went down in this connection or this relationship, and they want you to be able to give yourself permission to let go. Some of you are even experiencing guilt, so maybe there was something that you did that led to this relationship being in separation or at a distance, something maybe you said that the person was unable to manage, or they walked away, but it feels like whether or not this connection ended because of something that you did, that for some of you, you are racked with some kind of guilt, or even it could be longing for what ifs or what could have been. So it could be more of that than guilt itself. But all in all, you're holding on to some kind of wounding, to some kind of hurt, to some kind of pain that happened as a result of this connection. Now, for some of you, though, I'm immediately getting, as I say that it's not even from this connection. It's from a long life of difficulty, of hardship, of struggle, of challenge, that you've been through the thick of it, and they see that and they want more for you. And I think that maybe even your traumatic history or whatever it is that you have been through somehow led to more difficulty in the relationship that became unnavigatable for the both of you. Like your history and your past just kept coming into the relationship. As much as you might have worked to keep it out or to process it together, it just became unbearable for one or both parties, and it just was unable to continue. Now, that's not the case for everybody, but it does feel like a good majority, at least maybe half or so. For the other people, again, they just walked in with a bunch of baggage and a bunch of hardship and pain or struggle and challenge from the past. And even if it didn't affect this relationship directly, this person wants you to be able to live freely. They want you to be at peace. They want you to live in healing. They want you to liberate yourself from this. They know that you deserve more, and they want more for you. Their higher self, what would they say if they could? They would say, let this go. Do what you must do to heal. Do what you must do to get support. They want you to be at peace. They want you to be able to move through this. They're even saying, like, I acknowledge how difficult this must have been for you. I recognize how much pain that you've experienced, and the kinds of cards that you have dealt with. And ultimately, there's nothing I can do to help you or save you or fix that. I can't go in the past and fix this for you, they're saying. But I want more for you, and I know you want this for you too. And so the only person that can untether yourself from this or unchain yourself from that is you, and I want you to let this go. So some of you have been through difficulty. I feel like some of you, even a small minority here, have maybe been through like substance abuse or substance addiction, in which case this could have driven this person away. It's not the case for everyone. Some of you, it could have been promiscuous behaviors. Maybe you had an affair or cheated or something like that. There was some kind of betrayal as a result, again, of your past, and you weren't able to then preserve this relationship in the highest of light or in its greatest potential because of that history and trauma. So they want you to be healed, and it's not even about them. They want you to be healed for you, not so that they can have you, not so that they can be happy or whatever. They don't even want you to do this for them. They want you to do this for you. They want you to see the value in you, so you can clear this once and for all, and so that you can truly live the life that you came here to live. They want more for you. They also want to let you know that there is purpose in this. Whatever challenge or difficulty or struggle that you have moved through, and I've given a few different examples, yours might look different, but it feels like what they want to tell you or convey to you, there is possibility in this in terms of being in service to others. So whether you're still in the middle or the midst of this, or at the tail end of this, or currently working through whatever this challenge or difficulty or struggle is, they want you to know that ultimately a part of your purpose or your soul's mission is to be able to be of service to people who have experienced something similar. So if that lands for you, if that resonates for you, that might very well be the thread that can help you pull you out of this. But there is something that is relevant in terms of the difficulty and hardship you've experienced. You're not meant to carry this with you for no reason and just because. It's meant to be something that ultimately you're able to move through and heal from and then share with others. They want you to know that, and I think it's important for you to know that, to be able to find that sense of purpose within yourself, to be able to recognize your value, and to be able to make new choices in the future that truly honors your highest light, your highest potential. Yeah. So what they're saying is, again, they want you to heal. Their higher self is saying there is possibility here for you to be at peace, for your soul to be at peace, for you to feel good, even for the minority of you, or the small majority that does have some kind of substance addiction, or some kind of pattern that continues to play out that actually limits you in some ways, or a lot of ways, or interferes with your relationships or your life overall. They want you to be able to do the work and to do the healing that brings about this transformation, that brings about peace, so you can hold yourself with peace, so that you can sit there in sobriety, in silence. And again, sobriety could look or be a lot of different things. It can take many forms. It doesn't have to be sobriety from an addiction. It could be sobriety from the patterns and the habits of your mind. Like if you tend to be very self-destructive, that really it's self-destructive tendencies. That's actually what I'm picking up. But it could be self-sabotage. It could be tending to ruminate in fear or worry. Whatever it is that continues to sort of plague your life and your relationships, that can be cleared. And then in doing so, you're able to sit in that sobriety, right? The sobriety meaning you've cleared whatever that plague is, whatever that inner demon is. They want you to be able to find peace in your heart and to be able to live and just sit with you. Like life, it doesn't have to be so difficult or so bad. And the reason it has been in some ways is because you're carrying a lot of demons or baggage, or just have a lot of history or a lot of pain. And for some of you, I'm feeling right off the bat that it really wasn't even anything that you perpetrated. For some of you, it was childhood abuse. I'm getting for some of you, I'm getting sexual abuse. And so if that's the case, I encourage you, if you haven't already, to get the healing, to get the support. This video cannot do that for you. I am not a practitioner either in that regard, but I will put resources in the commentary for those who have been abused, or for those who are dealing with substance abuse, so that you can get the help that you need. Okay, so what's coming up here? Yeah. So they're saying this process will take some time and some change, and it's going to require everything of you. Their higher self is like, this will require every ounce that you have, every ounce of courage, every ounce of strength, every ounce of bravery. Do not give up. There's something so much better and brighter for you on the other side. Do not give up. They want to remind you of your immeasurable strength, of your inner resolve. In fact, they're saying that this is what wants to come through. This is what wants to be integrated. This is what wants to be expanded in you. Like this is what brings about your greater wholeness, your healing, your liberation. But then as a result, and then you're able to even be of service if you so choose, to be able to share your story with others and support other people in this process and this healing. And so they want you to know that it will take everything of you. It will require everything. And if you're thinking it's going to be hard, it's not a warning, but it's like it will require all of that out of you. And that's exactly what this is meant to bring forward from you. It's meant to bring forward all of your strength, all of your courage, all of your perseverance, all of your endurance, your faith, your hope. It's meant to pull all these things out of you, as strenuous and strained as it might be, but it's meant to pull this out of you. And that's what's going to essentially lead to that greater transformation. And from there, you have these greater qualities that are now supporting maybe your self-destructive or inner saboteur qualities. Now you have a whole person but you have some strength and bravery and courage in there too, to kind of pull you out of this ditch, or pull you out of this trench, or pull you out of the thickness of your own baggage or inner demons or whatever, such that you're able to come about on the other side, but as a totally different person. Because again, you've brought forth this courage, you brought forth this endurance, and through that shift and that alchemy, you end up being able to stand on your own 2 feet and even share your process, your story with others. Yeah, because what happens? Whoa, you guys get this card. It's incredible. Rebirth. You can see all that muck at the bottom. You rebirth out of that into the light that we're speaking of. The light of your highest potential, the light of your purpose, the light of spirit, and the light of the service that you're meant to share. The light of, again, like your true self, the light of your highest potential. You're able to stand there as a result of this rebirth and this healing that happens as a result. And what's really beautiful too is you've come to a place of inner resolve, of inner resolution, doesn't feel like closure, but it feels like this deep anchoring and knowingness of your purpose and why, quote unquote, this had to happen. And even if you don't come to that place, you don't ever have to. That's not what this reading is saying, but the higher self, what would they say if they could? They would say, they would say through this you become rebirthed and you become your highest self, what you came here to do. This was a part of your soul's path, a part of your soul's mission. This is a part of your service work. This is actually what's going to bring you what it is that you seek. You seek fulfillment deeply. You seek to really value yourself, and this journey is what brings that about. And it says you end up understanding how and why all of this had to happen so that you could become this other person, so that you could evolve into this greater version of you, so that you could become and embody your purpose and be of service in a way that you actually really deeply desire. You want this for yourself. You want to be of service. You want to know your place in this world. And this journey and your healing and your liberation is what eventually brings this about. So their higher self wants so much for you. They want healing for you, and they believe in you, and they want you to persevere and to push through this into the rebirth on the other side, where you are able to anchor yourself into your soul's purpose. So thank you, card pile 3. I'd love to hear from you, and if you feel comfortable, of course, to share your comments below. And I do want to let you know I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. And again, I will place some resources below for those of you who might find that you need more support than what this video can give. So thank you, card pile 3. Okay, card pile 4. What would they say if they could? Specifically, this is their higher self. So what would their higher self say? And I didn't know that when I went to go do this reading today, but then it became very clear that it was a much more, it was a much higher perspective than what most humans would be able to occupy or share. Okay, so what would they say if they could? They want you to learn to listen to your heart. Card pile 4, their higher self wants you to learn to listen to your heart, to not listen to your worries and your ruminations and your neurosis and all the things and the troubles and the dramas and the worries that your mind can drum up to make life hard for you, that limits you and holds you back and prevents you from really enjoying your life. They want you to experience a semblance of innocence, someone who is unhampered by the troubles and problems and practical realities of the world, someone who isn't held back by the daily dramas and worries of having to do this and having to do that and having to make this bill or pick up this kid or whatever your situation is. They really want you to be able to it's like there's some innocence that has been lost for whatever reason in your path and on your life path and through your life experience. And they want you to be able to let all of that baggage go. They want you to be able to release that, to see through the mind's falsehoods and illusions in terms of all the things that it continues to compound and make it creates a filter that then you're unable to unsee. And so then you're just expecting not the worst, but you're expecting trouble. You're expecting obstacle, you're expecting hardship, struggle, adversity. And this feels like for some of you this was relevant to your childhood. Maybe you saw your parents constantly struggling to survive or keep food on the table. There was constant trials and tribulations, and in some way you've now taken this on and have owned this pattern for yourself. And this person's higher self wants you to be able to experience life beyond that. They want you to experience innocence, where there's this freshness and vitality, unchecked freshness and vitality, meaning, you know, you're not having to think about all the practical realities or the obstacles, the things that might come up or the things that are worst case scenario. Instead, just to live by the beat of your own heart and to be able to love and to be able to enjoy and to be able to live in a state of just of awe, of wonder, of innocence. That's what they want for you, card pile 4. Now, I sure hope I've been saying card pile 4 and not card pile 3. If I have said card pile 3 in this, because I do tend to do that on occasion, I apologize. I am talking about you, card pile 4. I had to take a moment to change seating because I'm just not comfortable. Usually when I do 4 card piles, that happens. So, what's next here? What would they say if they could? They'd say, I want you to live by your heart. I want you to be able to see the world. They want you to see the world undistorted. They want you to see it with fresh eyes, the eyes of a child, the eyes of wonder, of awe. They want you to be able to experience everything here that you deserve, everything here that's so beautiful. They want you to experience the richness and the wonder of this life. And so moving on, they want you to experience what you deserve. So it's like they're saying you give so much, you do so much, you carry so much, you hold so much, you have such a beautiful heart. You have such a warrior spirit. Like, you do all the things, and you even probably do all the right things. It's just like you're someone who is just genuinely a good person, a good heart. You tend to play by the rules and care for others and live compassionately. And if that doesn't land, that's okay. These are just the words that are coming through based on the energy and the way that I'm reading it. But it's saying, like, they want your life to match the energy that you put out. And you put out beautiful energy, and you do a lot of good in this world. And they want you to experience a life that honors and reflects that. They want you to experience out here what it is that's inside of you. But that's very difficult when you're seeing through a filter that's like trouble around the corner, difficulty, challenge, prepare for this, fight or flight. And it's like, how can you live in wonder and awe and really live a life that honors all that you are if your mind is telling you there's trouble around every corner? If your mind is creating a reason to worry or another problem to solve or bringing about another fear, more or less your mind being a prison or your primary demon, they want you, again, we just keep getting like all these awe and wonder cards. That's how I'm seeing it for this pile. This card doesn't always come through with awe and wonder, but both of these are doing that for me today. Innocence, awe, wonder. They want you to experience that. Let's take a look at this one too, because I think it's important for you to see. They want you to not only, so I'm getting a couple different things here. They want you to experience a life that honors who you are, that actually reflects all that you are, that's not sort of hampered or held back or limited by the filter that you've created of worries and such with your mind. They want you to experience all that you are, so you have to clear all that junk out. But they also want you to experience a love that's true for you, that matches you on all levels, that meets you, that is your match. So they want you to experience both. Now, that's only going to land for some people. So, of course, take what lands, leave the rest. But their higher self is saying, I want you to experience more. I want you to experience innocence. I want you to experience awe, wonder. I want you to be able to settle your mind and to be able to be at peace. And they're also saying, I want you to experience everything that you put out. I want you to be able to receive that. And I want you to be able to experience that in love and romance also. So yeah, they're saying here, there's an opportunity now to start anew. And for some of you, I am feeling like they are saying that it might be without them, like you guys have already parted. So for some of you who are in separation, or this is after heartbreak or whatever, you're gonna have to apply this to however it lands for your situation. But it's like, this is a new birth, a new opportunity, a new beginning. And it feels like you might still feel dark and gray in some ways or in some areas, but that there is new birth coming. You can trust that. They want you to know. It's like reassurance, like new birth is coming. Now, for some of you, though, I'm feeling like they are giving this reassurance, this reminder that you get to create your life. You get to make it what it is, that you have the power ultimately to do as you please, to make this life as good, as great, or as bad, or as difficult, or as challenging as you want. You have the choice to take life as seriously and as personally as you want. Like, ultimately, you are the creator and the decider and the authority of your life. They want you to recognize that, because they want you to recognize the potential that is here for you, that there is a potential of a greater life, of a more fulfilling life, of a happier life, of a more content and spirited life. They want you to know that that is a possibility for you. So what would they say if they could? They'd say, I want you to be able to live by your heart and see through your heart and through the eyes of a child, and to be able to experience all the awe and wonder that's here for you. I want you to be able to live a life that reflects all that you are and all that you give the world and all the good that you do in the world. And they're saying, I want you to, for some of you, I want you to move on, and I want you to pursue a love and a life that truly honors all that you give and on all the ways that you devote yourself. So that's going to be the case for some of you, and for some of you, it's going to be simply creating a life that is more in alignment with their soul, with spirit, excuse me, with that innocence, that awe and wonder of a child, of maybe even their inner child. Yeah. So what they want to say is that, you're worth it. So you are worth pursuing this. And I feel like for some of you, it's like you're worth it on an intellectual level, but you might not deeply resonate or connect with that yet. It might not be fully integrated. And they want you to know that you are worth all of the beauty and the glory that they wish for you, that they see your value. Again, this is from their higher self. And so they want you to recognize that too. They want you to see all that you're worth. They want you to recognize how worth it is to move through perhaps the challenges that you feel are going to be a part of the path in order to make this transformation for yourself. Like, you are thinking it's, well, just like everything else. They've been saying, like, your mind tends to get in the way to tell you it's going to be a troubled or difficult path. And so again, you're like, why bother? What an effort. Isn't even worth it. And they want to tell you that it is, and you wouldn't know yet because you haven't done it. They want you to know that there's so much joy and bliss on the other side of letting your mind run and maybe even ruin your life, that there is that sense of innocence, of joy, of how that spirit of a young child is. And they're saying, how worth it would it be? Like, maybe you didn't ever get the chance to live innocently like a child. Maybe in your younger years you were the parentified child, so you always had to be responsible, play a certain role, or maybe you were nurturing your parents, or maybe life's troubles again were always in the way, and that kind of colored your view of life, and you came to believe that it was something that you had to anticipate and problem solve and constantly try to figure out in order to live well. And so you have this ingrained mental pattern of trying to anticipate and fix problems and worry about them and so on and so forth, just in case the worst case scenario occurs and all this stuff, right? And they're saying that of course it's worth it to release that, so that you can finally experience childlike wonder, and that perhaps you haven't experienced that yet. Now, they do want to say, their higher self also wants to say, please know that a part of your work and a part of your path that could be really good for you is meditation, mindfulness, meditative movement. They want you to know that it's going to be the greatest part, the greatest tool that's going to help you, or what's going to be most beneficial to you, is creating space from the mind so that you can see clearly, so that you can see with fresh eyes, so you can see with the eyes of a child, so that you're not filtering everything that you see through the mind that has all these dilemmas and dramas and troubles and fears it wants to bring about. Meditation will be incredibly great for you. Mindfulness, yoga, mindful movement, meditative movement, things like that are going to support you to be able to see beyond the mind and see beyond those filters. And ultimately, over time, you're going to be able to clear and release those. So what would their higher self say? They'd say, I want so much for you. For some of you guys, this person you're with, I feel like you're with, or they're still in your life. It could be a family member or significant other, or you just want to hear what they might have to say, what they want for you, and this is it. So that doesn't come up for every pile. Most of them are. And my ear just started ringing, so I do feel like that's relevant for some of you. This person, and I feel like for some of you, this is someone who has passed on. This is maybe a mother or a grandmother or something like that. It's not going to be the case for everybody. This is a very specific message, obviously. But I'm saying I do feel like for some of you, this isn't love, romance, or a soulmate in separation. It might be more someone that you're with and asking about. It might be someone from the other side and you're curious as to what they want for you. So that's coming in through clearly, and they want you to live more joyfully. They want you to experience all that you are, and you give so much to life. They want life to give back to you, and so that's what they share with you today. So thank you, card pile 4. I'd love to hear your reflections and responses. This was actually a very unique reading, all in all, very unusual as compared to most of my readings, so I would love to hear your feedback. If you like it, I encourage you to like and subscribe, and of course I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life and your work and your spiritual path, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, card pile 4.